Welcome back everyone. Inside today's video we are doing a Tartarus guide, in which this one I tried to make quick, informational, and precise as possible. So we're going to try to get down straight into it, which a lot of you guys are going to need for your Tartarus runs. Now this video will be divided into several different parts, which you can see in front of yourself, and you can skip to any one that you like to. The timestamps should be down below, so just jump to where you want to go to and I'll be explaining from there. But to start, we need to explain exactly what Tartarus is. Tartarus in P5X is a roguelike game mode similar to Heartrail, where you go around and ascend a tower. This is going to obviously come with its limited abilities, and you'll end up finding your run anytime you want to. Now you're able to of course progress throughout the whole thing and even exit at any given moment of time, seeing that this mode does take some time itself. Tartarus itself can be seen in two different parts, such as entrance, where you'll find all your tabs, and the exploration, which is a lot of what you guys are here for. So getting into the exploration part, you'll enter the dungeon with your screen looking like this. If you're overwhelmed, don't worry, breaking it down, we have the boss floor, which is going to be telling you exactly where the boss is from you. The next is going to be the floor objective on the right hand side. This is usually telling you if you have any special missions or things to look out for, such as quests, or even selecting or saving a kitten inside of the Tartarus area, which is going to be on your current floor. Then we have the big one that a lot of you guys are going to pay attention to, being the upper UI. Now this is a lot of things on the upper side, so I'm going to try to break this down even further, starting off with the top left side. On the top left side, you see a button that says buff. This buff tab shows all your current buffs that you've gained in the run, and these are going to be some of them that can stack and or temporary ones. So always look at this, especially if you're trying to figure out what buffs you still have on your character. On the right hand side, you'll also see some currencies. You have the first one being the clock gears, in which these can be used for the Great Clock. In this run, you want to think of them as like a shop currency, which you're able to use at the Great Clock for units and or buff cards. As for the next currency, this is Dawn Fragments, and this is a little bit different, seeing that with these said Dawn Fragments, you're able to go ahead and restore your will with them. These are going to be little small clocks that are usually in front of different boss rooms themselves, and if you don't want to do that with them, don't worry, you can either use them on increasing your unit's awareness level and or chests, monad doors, or even certain quest objectives. So there's plenty of places that you're going to use those, just be careful with how you use them. Lastly is the team button. Now the team button at the top right is where you're essentially going to be using all of Wonder's personas and daggers mid-run. You can change these at any point in time as long as you're not in a battle, so just keep that in mind. Now another thing you're able to do inside of the team function is reorganize your team. So if you have 4 characters, don't think that they're there forever. You're actually able to freely swap them on out. The only person as always that you can't move is Wonder himself, and this can help for some diverse teams that you want to make midway if you find yourself needing to change. Now the last big thing that you guys want to go ahead and pay attention to in the UI is going to be the will section. Will is this mode's lifeline. Wonder will start with 100 will inside of Tartarus, and as he does combat, Wonder's will go down, especially to normal shadows and rare shadows. Each of these will take about 6 will, while formidable shadows will reduce 9 will. And Sentinel and block bosses shadows will also have a different will amount deducted, being a whopping 15. This isn't including anything such as barriers, which you'll run into inside of Tartarus. These can sometimes take around 10 will themselves, which the lower your will, the closer to a game ender this can be. But don't worry, will can be restored, as I said beforehand, being at little clocks that you'll find in front of Tartarus bosses, in which the first one's always going to be free, being a 40 will restoration, and then later on using Dawn Fragments, the further ones are going to of course get you up that 40 will, just it does come at a price, so be sure to have a lot of Dawn Fragments on you. Now an important system inside of Tartarus is going to be the shuffle time system. During this event, you the player are able to select a variety of rarities or categories of different cards. Now these can be for possible characters or even buffs, but each of these things will happen after you fight an enemy. So keep that in mind as well. And if you want to make your journey easier, this is definitely going to be important. Now one of these are always going to happen as you take out an enemy, in which the potential results of these will depend on how difficult the enemy can be. If it's a boss, obviously it's going to have better results on it. If it's anything lower, the results can vary. But these different buffs and cards that you're able to get during said shuffle time are all random. Even some of them can be found inside of the Great Clock, and these cards are anything being such as the sword cards, cups, wands, and coins, even going up to the major ones such as major arcanas. Each suit has their specific functions, swords being usually our combat permanent buffs, cups functioning as buffs related to field explorations, wands serving multiple purposes but are temporary, coins giving wonder resources such as clock gears and dawn fragments, and lastly, which are rare, major arcana cards giving wonders team permanent unique buffs. All of these are highly essential, but there's 4 major arcanas that I'd really recommend if you can get them. Fortune, which increases allies max HP by 20%. When a skill heals beyond max HP, it'll deal damage to one random foe equal to 200% of the surplus healing. High Priestess, when an ally deals damage with a skill, it'll also decrease the main target's down points by 1 and increase all foes' attack or all-out attack damage taken by 100% up to 1500%, and this is all going to be based on a number of stacks. Tower, which increases Wonder's attack, defense, and main HP by 20%, and the final damage by 30%, which can be very helpful. Just keep in mind some fights do take away final damage percentage. Finally, the Devil Arcana, which increases the rate of finding search objects on the floors and increases clock gears gained from search objects by 40%. This can be insanely helpful if you're a person who needs a ton of currency, needing to get way more buffs or other major arcanas from the clock gears. Now, one of the last things and most essential things that a shuffle time can give you as well is going to be 4-star units and 5-star units. 4 stars are usually going to help you get excess dawn fragments once you're over the A6 duplicate amount. Getting any more of those will help you out quite a lot, seeing that by completing it, you get 1 dawn fragment. For 4 stars themselves, they go up 3 fragments at a time, so it is very easy to get the max. As for 5 stars, you only want to focus on the ones that are required for your team, but dupe them accordingly. Once you've gotten each of them, of course, fully maxed on out, you're ready to go and you pretty much can kill anything in your way. But now we've talked about all of these things here, you've gotten the gist of how Tartarus works, so you should be able to commit to your run. But with that out of the way, we can now talk about the tabs being the interest side of Tartarus, which we're going to get started with stories and antiques. Starting with the story side here, this is where you're going to be doing majority of your side questing with the specific side of the cast. As you can see, we have Makoto Yuki, Yukari, Junpei, Mitsuru, Akihiko, Fuka, Aigis, Kin, Koromaru, and Shinjiro that are all going to be inside of Tartarus itself. Pretty much by going ahead and getting some of these fragments, which you'll get from your Tartarus run here, you'll be able to unlock these side stories as well as their item stories here, which will allow you to get not only gems, but learn more about the character inside of modern day Shibuya or where they are currently. Both of which you want to go ahead and complete these as much as possible because you do get yourself gems and other different missions completed if you're going to go ahead and also do that as well. So it is very essential that you are doing Tartarus in order to unlock every last one of these. As the characters do unlock, of course there will be their own shards that you're able to use here and experience their side stories accordingly. Now that we finished talking about the stories, checking out the antiques, this is another side of Tartarus that you guys want to pay attention to. By going ahead and looking here, you're able to select a different amount of antiques, which I didn't go over personally because these are also going to depend on how you want to really play Tartarus itself. What I can say here is the antiques that I would advise for a lot of you guys to stay on is going to be the exquisite oil paintings, the antique vase, and the vintage perfume bottle. All 3 of these are pretty darn decent and you'll be able to complete as much as possible. By going ahead and doing Tartarus, you're going to get some of these currencies themselves, which can be used to not only unlock new versions of the actual antiques themselves, but also can be used to upgrade the antiques themselves, which will help you out with level rewards such as cash and gem amounts. So you do want to make sure you're getting the overall amount needed in order to get all of those nice gems. These are permanent, so if you can't get them right away, don't worry. They're not going anywhere, so you're going to be able to get all of those gems at one point in time. But now that we've explained this side of the actual video, let's go to the next section. Looking into the mastery side of things here, this one isn't really that hard to really keep up on. Essentially, it's a skill tree that you want to build out, and the first thing you want to try to do is get to the outer layer of these big buffs. If you really wanted to, just slowly work your way through this some way somehow, in which you want to try to get to this one here and work your way upwards. Reason being is because these last ones are very huge buffs to your run, such as increased EXP gain, which is going to be a 10% increase, the get item, which starts you off with 300 clock gears, the enhanced great clock, which gives you another number of cards you can select at the great clock, the insta kill level up, which also helps you out as well, and then the last few perks themselves being the enhanced great clock, making sure this takes less to get certain cards from here, get item, which helps you out on gaining another dawn fragment, and lastly another get item, which gives you 300 clock gears. These are going to be your most important ones, seeing they can overall change the experience of your runs, which is very good for you. If you're able to, of course, get more dawn fragments, gear clocks, or even make it cheaper on yourself, it'll make going through the run very easy. After you get your big ones out the way, which I want to say the most ones you really want to pay attention to is going to be the enhanced great clock, the insta kill level, and then obviously the EXP gained here, you want to go for some of these small orbs. These small orbs themselves obviously are going to help out your characters, essentially giving you damage buff, HP buff, defense buffs, speed, and or things such as persona increase active skill levels. All of this is going to be very essential for your runs, so be sure to fill this out as you go. It's not really as hard or takes as long as you guys think it does, so surely just do this and you'll be perfectly fine. But going ahead and moving to our next section here, which is going to be the mission section, this is where you're going to get a ton of your gems. These gems are going to be anywhere from getting different will requirements, such as being level 50 or minus 50 will or 100 will and below, give you tons of different gems, items, coins, you name it, they got it. There's also some special missions such as A6ing the characters themselves, such as Yusuke, Makoto, or even Joker, in completing the run. As long as you're doing the run that is at least Tower of Darkness one time, you will be able to complete this and get whatever you want out of here. Then of course we get to more of the harder missions, such as the special missions. These missions take place at the police station themselves, which are just like the other missions as well, but they give you more money as well as other different items such as soul gems. Every last one of these things are very much so important, and you want to be sure to get every last one of these gems as possible. These also aren't time limited. Some of them can be, but most of the time they're all not time limited, so you can complete these whenever you want to and don't feel inclined to always do this as fast as possible. But now that we've talked about at least this section here, we're going to go ahead and move on to the team and difficulty before closing out the video. Regarding the team and difficulty section, this one is pretty easy and simplistic. For your team section, you're usually going to be pressing the T button right here, and it's going to tell you all the characters you're able to recruit. Essentially, they're going to have a layout of people that you're going to end up having as your bases, but the main thing you want to know is try to have only 1 to 2 5-stars, most likely being your healer if you are going to use a healer, and then of course your main DPS, whether this is Makoto Yuki, Yusuke, something of that sort, and keep everything else with 4 stars. Main reason for this is because how I went back and said earlier, the more 4 stars you can dupe out, the more dawn fragments you end up getting, therefore making your run, or at least your run, a lot easier. So when it does come down to this here, all these characters, you can just select who you really want to actually have. By going ahead and clicking, if I wasn't exploring Tartarus currently, you would be able to unlock these said characters. You have to unlock them with a thing called soul fragments, which are these heart-shaped things here, in which every last one you unlock will then allow you to go ahead and use them inside of your Tartarus run. By going ahead and doing this here, it'll allow you to do a lot more things inside of your Tartarus run itself, and every character can be a little bit more expensive. Luckily on global, things have been a lot cheaper compared to how they were on TW, KR, and CN, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem for a lot of players. At the same time, you're able to set your antique in here, as well in the future change your set dream fragments. The dream fragments, as I stated before, will be used inside of the story section, which is going to be very helpful. So when Yukari does come out, instead of having Makoto Yuki here, you'll be able to change this on over to Yukari and continue from there. Once you select the characters you really did want at this point in time, you press the confirm button, which saves your team that's in there, and go on from there. On the off chance that you wanted to change the difficulty, you would end up talking to the clock if you did not have a certain run going currently, and this allows you to change the difficulty. Pretty much difficulty is just for flexing purposes as of now, but depending if there is a mission, you will need to do certain difficulties that are higher and or lower in order to get certain rewards. The higher the difficulty it is, not only is it going to be harder, but the more base rewards you end up getting. The lower the difficulty, the easier it is, but the base rewards will be lower, which goes from that standpoint as well. But before we close out, I know a lot of you guys do like some information on the best teams that you would like to use for this, and so luckily for me, I ended up providing a couple of these. So let's get to that as well. Regarding the two best teams here, there are two that I really do recommend, seeing they are very prevalent inside the community. One of them being with Makoto Nijima, Vino, Marion, and Wind. This team is very strong, and in the future when we get the Lovers Arcana, will allow you to of course get a full female team buff. Now the other part of this team that you could go ahead and change out is Vino if you want an extra buffer, which is going to be Leon, though I do think Vino is a little bit better than Leon in certain cases. Now on the off chance that you don't want to use Makoto Nijima and you want to use Makoto Yuki, you can also use the team being Makoto Yuki, Leon, Marion, and Wind. Both of these teams do very well, and there's certain other special teams you could also end up making to really clear this out. Remember, at the end of the day, everything is based on RNG. And with that, we're going to end off the video. This was actually very fun doing, and I do apologize that it took a couple days to go ahead and do this as well. I wasn't feeling as well, especially this weekend when it came down to that. Many of you guys do understand I've been sick a little bit, so I've been trying to relax and just chill out. So this video took a little bit longer than I would have liked, but hopefully you guys still found it very informational and also very fun as well. If you would like to support me and the channel, consider dropping a like, subscribe, and even leaving a comment. If you want to support me further and be at the end of our donation list, which I will be making a dono board very soon, be sure to check out my Ko-Fi link down below in the description. Really would mean a lot, even if it's just $1. But till then everybody, thank y'all and peace out.